Hi, hello, and welcome to Same But Different. My name is Brody, and today you will notice that it is just I again. Just little old me, just baby blue. You probably already know this because you clicked the link to come watch this video, but I did not review Hundreds of Beavers. Whoops.
Whoops.
Instead, what I did is my girlfriend and I went to watch Abigail, the new horror movie Abigail, and I figured, hey, that movie's brand new. Why don't we review that one instead of a movie nobody's heard of? We'll get to that some other time. We're doing Abigail. If you know me at all, I love horror, I love comedy, I love these kinds of movies, so I was very excited about Abigail. It's kind of a shame Darik didn't get to see this, because he is very similar to me in the sense of really enjoying these kinds of movies. Darik also told me last week when I did the solo review that I wore my headset, just like muscle memory. I put my headset on and I looked like a buffoon. Normally we have those on so we can hear each other, but I was doing it solo and I had those on for no reason. None.
What's the reason, Andy? What's the reason?
Took them off this time, so here we are. Let's dive right into the review. I'm very excited to talk about this movie with you guys, so here we go. First things first, I really enjoyed this movie. We're just gonna come right out of the gate with it. There's no reason for me to just give it praise for the next 5 minutes and then be like, what did he think? Just an absolute blast. And it delivered exactly what the trailer promised you. I find a lot with horror movies, the trailer will be one thing and then the movie will try to throw some twists and turns and loops it. And I like twists and turns, but you still want to go to a movie and get what you were promised. And this one did exactly that. If you liked the director's previous movies, i.e. Ready or Not, or either of the new Scream movies, you're definitely going to like this one as well. It was very similarly balanced with the comedy and the horror and the gore and the character work and just all around fun time. In fact, I'd go one further and I would say that it had the perfect ratio of suspense, comedy, and scary. A lot of horror comedies really go too far with the comedy or too far with the horror. It's very hard to get that genre perfectly mixed, and Abigail absolutely crushed that. I will say that the scary wasn't that scary. The movie wasn't that scary, but there were scary scenes in it, and I think the reason for that is that this was meant to be an accessible horror film that fans of the genre were meant to enjoy, because it's what we came for. But then people who aren't necessarily horror fans also can sit there and enjoy it because it will be scary to them, but not so scary they're not going to sleep at night. It had a very fun plot and a well thought out plot too, with layers, you know, but it never got too convoluted. It was very straightforward as long as you were watching. I think one of my favorite aspects of this movie is it was a group of people genuinely reacting to the fact that this girl's a vampire. You know, a lot of times in movies like this, zombie movies, vampire movies, are like, what is that? This thing sucks my blood. Like vampires don't exist in their world, but these people knew exactly what that was, and it was funny. They're like, you know, let's go kill a vampire, I guess. Like, it was just, it's like in Shaun of the Dead.
Any zombies out there? Don't say that.
No, don't say the Z word. Like, it's just funny shit. It had a very solid cast. There were like 8 people in the whole movie, and most of them, we'll get to that, did a very, very, very good job. I think that Catherine Newton and Kevin Durand stuck out the most for me in terms of the core group, but gotta give it up to Alicia Weir. That girl's like 12 years old, only has Matilda under her belt, and came out of the gates absolutely fucking swinging. She was amazing. I was very impressed. Now, this movie does not shy away from its fun special effects, its blood, its guts and gore. There's a lot of that and it's a lot of fun. I will say, it's kind of hard to say what I'm going to say because you're going to have to see the movie to know what I'm talking about, but it didn't feel consistent in what they were delivering. Like, sometimes it was like, holy fuck, what did I just see? And then sometimes it was like, well, that could have been a lot grosser. It was just weird. Some of the deaths and some of the things that happened were just a little softer than the movie had a rating for. First of all, it could have gone all out, and it did sometimes and it didn't sometimes. So it just felt a little bit iffy.
Iffy, touch and go.
I feel like that was a perfect kind of segue into some gripes about this movie. I don't have a lot, but I will say, I think it took a little bit to get started. Which is kind of a stupid thing to say, because all movies should take a little bit to get started. But movies like this, where you get to know the group of people and what they're getting into and things like that, the beginnings, like your Evil Deads, all I can think of are cabin movies. All those Cabin in the Woods, Cabin Fever, all those sorts of things. The beginnings are supposed to be quite fun. A lot of the time, they're some of the best parts of the movies. And this one just really felt like it needed to start. The first 30-ish minutes of this movie were just objectively weaker than the rest. And that's okay, because when it finally kicked in, it stayed good the entire time, and I loved it. Looking back, I'm like, damn, that first 30 minutes was just kind of bland. This movie also had a lot of, dare I say, cliches in the horror genre, which I think were on purpose, because it is satirical in its... That's what these people do. You've seen the Scream movies. They're very self-aware. They're very satirical. But some of the things, even, they didn't ring true as satire. They just felt like they fell flat. I'm going to give you one specific example. It's a scene where they're talking and she's like, oh, I wish I could just reset everything and go back to... And then one of the characters was like, reset. That's it. If I just reset this, then we can do this. And I'm... if that's not a gripe of mine in movies. I understand it is needed for the progression of the movie, but like, the word reset isn't a crazy word. If they were to say like generator or security system or something like that, and that kind of dinged your brain, sure. The word reset does not come as an epiphany. It's such a little thing, but it bothered me so much. And there were a few of those throughout in the dialogue. And then here's the big one where, you know, if this gets more than 10 views, I might get a little bit of flack on. And it's Melissa Barrera. Listen.
Listen up.
Melissa Barrera was great in Scream, but this movie has so much going for it, and all the characters have so much... They're almost exaggerated in who they are. They're cartoony exaggerations almost of real life people, and she just didn't hit the mark for me. She was just your very level-headed, grounded, badass protagonist, and it's not like she did a bad job, and I really wanted to like her, but something about her performance, maybe it was just because she was the lead, fell flat. But that's just this man's review, okay? And it honestly did not take away from the movie too much at all, because everything else this movie had going on for it more than made up for it. Overall, a damn bloody good time. And another fantastic entry in the Radio Silence Productions filmography. I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. Ready or Not for me would probably be a 9 out of 10, but I fucking love that movie. I actually really, really enjoyed it. I can't wait for it to come on to streaming so I can fall asleep watching it, because a movie like this is a comfort movie for me. I loved it very much. Have you seen Abigail? If you have, please let me know what you thought in the comments below, because this is the kind of movie that I want to talk to people about it. There's so much I can't say in a spoiler-free review that, like, I just want to say. Next week, I'm not too sure what we're doing. Darik should be back, but he and I haven't been talking because he's been on set. Don't know if I'm allowed to say that. He's actually the next Superman. That David Corn sweat nonsense, that's just a facade. It's actually Darik. Can you believe that? Crazy stuff. We'll figure something out. Maybe we'll do Hundreds of Beavers. Maybe we'll do something else. I don't know yet. But in the meantime, if you want to like, if you want to follow, if you want to subscribe, it means so much. It just makes our week. Let me know what you thought about Abigail, and keep watching movies, because they're better than life.